Hello and welcome to Better Body Movement. This class is designed to help you start feeling well.
I have less pain, literally eliminate that pain.
I just feel better.
I can tell that my posture is changing.
Bright light in the day when we've done our workouts online.
Makes me feel so good about myself.
Oftentimes, I have clients come to me and say that they feel like they have ribs that are out. This is caused by muscles creating undue tension on the ribs and vertebrae. The first muscles to focus on when we do our work is the Latissimus Dorsi. This muscle originates from the bottom 6 thoracic vertebrae to the sacrum, then spans past the lower 3 to 4 ribs and inserts in the humerus. Start with a foam roller placed on the thoracic spine. You're going to begin by pressing your elbow up to the ceiling and then dropping down to the floor. I like to imagine holding a tray on my elbows that I'm pushing to the ceiling and then relaxing to the floor. Repeat this for 7 to 10 repetitions and then move on to overhead extension. While on the thoracic spine, starting with your palms towards the knees and arms straight, extend the arms overhead, pointing your thumbs towards the floor. To intensify each side, simply roll over onto one side. Try to relax in the tender points. Complete 7 to 10 repetitions with a foam roller in 3 different parts of the ribs. Now we're going to work the Erector Spinae and Transverso Spinalis. These muscles line your vertebrae on both sides. The Erector Spinae is deep, yet even deeper are the multifidus and semispinalis. The deepest muscles connected to the vertebrae are the rotatories and in the low back, the intertransversarii. Start with 2 lacrosse balls and place them by the neck. The lacrosse balls should be touching as you begin to roll your body up, forcing the lacrosse balls down your spine. Do this slowly. You should only press further if you can fully tolerate your body pressure on top of the lacrosse balls. It could take anywhere from 30 seconds to 1 minute before that muscle relaxes. Then you can press with the lacrosse balls down a little bit further. You may need to work gradually through this because your muscle will be so tender you can't tolerate all of your body weight's pressure into the lacrosse balls. In order to create a greater release, do not rush this. It should take cumulatively close to 15 minutes to work your way down the entire spine. Oftentimes, I have clients come to me and say that they feel like they have ribs that are out. This is caused by muscles creating undue tension on the ribs and vertebrae. The first muscles to focus on when we do our work is the Latissimus Dorsi. This muscle originates from the bottom 6 thoracic vertebrae to the sacrum, then spans past the lower 3 to 4 ribs and inserts in the humerus. Start with a foam roller placed on the thoracic spine. You're going to begin by pressing your elbow up to the ceiling and then dropping down to the floor. I like to imagine holding a tray on my elbows that I'm pushing to the ceiling and then relaxing to the floor. Repeat this for 7 to 10 repetitions and then move on to overhead extension. While on the thoracic spine, starting with your palms towards the knees and arms straight, extend the arms overhead, pointing your thumbs towards the floor. To intensify each side, simply roll over onto one side. Try to relax in the tender points. Complete 7 to 10 repetitions with a foam roller in 3 different parts of the ribs. Now we're going to work the Erector Spinae and Transverso Spinalis. These muscles line your vertebrae on both sides. The Erector Spinae is deep, yet even deeper are the multifidus and semispinalis. The deepest muscles connected to the vertebrae are the rotatories, and in the low back, the intertransversarii. Start with 2 lacrosse balls and place them by the neck. The lacrosse balls should be touching as you begin to roll your body up, forcing the lacrosse balls down your spine. Do this slowly. You should only press further if you can fully tolerate your body pressure on top of the lacrosse balls. It could take anywhere from 30 seconds to 1 minute before that muscle relaxes. Then you can press with the lacrosse balls down a little bit further. You may need to work gradually through this because your muscle will be so tender you can't tolerate all of your body weight's pressure into the lacrosse balls. In order to create a greater release, do not rush this. It should take cumulatively close to 15 minutes to work your way down the entire spine.
All right, we are ready to go. Maybe. Let's get the lens on there to help see what's going on here. Okay, so we have leg day today, so hopefully you're ready for that. Remember, when we start the video for the exercises, you will be shown exactly what you need for tools to follow a basic, intermediate, or advanced version of these exercises. But every day we want to start with our I dedicates, and then we will work through our verse of the day as well. So dedicating Lori's mom, Ethan, my friend's wife who was diagnosed with breast cancer, Sky Toyne, continuing to pray for her even though her healing is going really, really well. She's coming off of medications, getting stronger, doing more, so that's really good to see. And then Kira has started radiation after her surgery. So praying for each one of those individuals. Remember, if you happen to have anyone that you would like to put on our list, please let me know. Would love to do that. Quick, before we get into our verse of the day and then start our workouts, if you have not yet subscribed with our YouTube following, please do that. Usually it's a button right about here that you would be able to click on and be notified as well of when we go live, so that way you can make better body movement a part of your day. Our verse of the day: be kind to one another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another as God in Christ forgave you. Ephesians 4:32. And I can tell you personally, I mean, maybe you are absolutely great at this, but it is hard. I mean, it is really hard to be forgiving to one another. I usually don't find it hard to be kind or even really tender-hearted, but the forgiveness for other people, especially to see that as God forgave us, 100%, no questions asked, guaranteed grace, like, that is unreal. It's easy for me to forgive maybe once or twice, but you can bet I'm going to probably be keeping a record of wrongs because I don't want to get hurt again, right? And there's balance in that area, but that's a large call. So, all right, let's go ahead and jump into the workout here. Remember, if you're going basic, you want a stability ball, a foam roller, and a chair. And the foam roller's pretty much just to put under the chair for when we do hamstring curls. Intermediate, just a loop band. Advanced, a loop band, and a large band. Okay. Remember, as we warm up, the whole point is that you guys would start checking alignments. What's working, what's not. Make sure we try to get the butt, belly, and bra strap all pinched tight before we get started here, right? So small circles backwards, right? We want to take the shoulders through that as well, right? If you don't want to do that with the arms out, you can do that with the arms down and still just roll those shoulders. Feel what your shoulder blades are doing. Large circles forward. And again, we're going through the range of motion as much as possible. So all the way up, all the way back, right? All the way down. Play with that range of motion. And then Large circles backwards. Just like we're swimming all summer long. Okay, internal, external rotation. And again, remember, we want the shoulder blades to be moving through this. Okay? So I don't want to just stay in a rounded forward posture and think I'm doing this right. Okay? I want to pull those shoulders back as the hands go back, right? Or think my shoulders should lead the arm, right? So it's not just a little penguin flop. It's opening all the way. Okay, into the march. Right, here's where we really start connecting belly and butt, right? Hold and brace our bodies, get those knees moving. Start lubricating those joints. Get everything going here. And I want to remind you, if you have any questions as we go about our day here doing these exercises, let me know if you need a different version or another idea on how to make a change to make it easier for your joints, something like that. Let me know. I have no problem helping you out, making sure you get what you need in this workout. Okay, hip swings or leg swings. Make sure, again, if we have any low back issues, especially like spinal stenosis or spondylitis, spondylolisthesis, any of those things going on in the low back, you want to hold your core tight still. We just want to do a nice little joint lubrication, right? So movement is going to create an abundance of synovial fluid in the joint. So we want synovial fluid. That's really good. That's like grease and bearings, right? Keeps the bearings moving because there's lubrication or grease that keeps them moving. So we're going to take old Tin Man and put some oil on those joints. All right, hip flexor stretch. As we do this, back leg straight, right? Don't open your hips here. Keep your hips pointed straight forward, and then tuck your butt. You're not going to feel a lot in your hip flexor if your butt's just hanging out back, right? Tuck underneath, really open up the hip. About 2 to 3 seconds, lift, and then switch. Okay, straight knee, tuck that butt, open things up. Squeeze nice and tight. Very good. Awesome.
3, 2, 1. Get ready to squat.
Ready for the squats. So as we prepare for leg day, again, we're trying to get the butt cheeks to fire as much as possible. So the best way to do that, think a penny between the cheeks,
2, 1.
through
Squat.
the movement. Okay, penny between the cheeks. Squeeze tight. Press, compress, compress. Again, we want the core braced, so that way there's no shift in the low
That's
back.
halfway.
Right? We don't want to be arching our back, slumping over as we sit. Right? Core compressed to hold firm. Again, grab that penny. Good.
3.
Until if you
2,
want to use the chair,
1.
Carol,
Transition
you
to
can see what
single
it's
leg
like
step
trying to
down.
get to the chair and then back up. Right? Because especially with the knee, we want to make sure that range of motion is fully capable.
3, 2, 1.
If your knees
Single leg
are
step down.
pointed out as well, that's okay. One of the things that I don't want to happen with a squat is if we go in a wide squat like this, we don't want the knees to be dropped. Right. So we want to be able to take and get into external rotation through here, and that's going to give you more of the adductor on the inside of the leg.
That's halfway.
I don't think my body does. It changes.
Some things just aren't for everybody. Hey. Remember, compress that core
2,
through your
1.
movement.
Switch sides.
So regardless of what you choose to do, right, your core should be bracing. So be prepared for that belly whack all the time.
3, 2, 1. Single leg step down.
And remember, if you're doing this as a step down, right, you don't want your hips shifting up, right? So I don't want hips in different positions. I want to try to maintain a level position here, right, in the front of my hips. So if I go to lift and my hips lift, that's a problem, right? That creates impingement in the low back. If we can brace and hold that spine, that's what we want, to keep those in alignment, okay?
3, 2, 1. Transition to good morning.
And usually, especially for like a step down, what I try to think is lower myself down without letting my foot touch the ground. So it's like this idea of, oh, I don't want it. I don't want to be reaching for the floor. Because that's usually where we end up seeing problems.
As much as I try, I don't know.
Okay? Remember this horizontal movement of the hips. Reach your butt for the wall behind you, right? And this one's real easy to check because you put your feet about 8 inches away from a wall and then reach your butt back and see if you can touch the wall, right? If you can touch, move forward. Reach back, touch, and squeeze up. When it's difficult to get there or it feels like you're going to lose your balance and fall into the wall, that's about where you would stay.
1. Transition to monster walk.
Good. Monster walk. So bend around the knees, especially if your knees happen to be close together like this. If you naturally go in, we want the band at the knees so you can push out.
2,
Or you can put it at the ankles. That's a little more difficult. And good core compression still. Hold this tight. And then you're trying to think, press your feet down into the floor behind you as you go forward. If you go backwards, you're trying to think, push again, that foot down and back, squeezing your butt cheek tight. Pennies everywhere. This one was always your thing, Carol.
3, 2, 1. Transition to VMO left.
Good. VMOs. Now remember, with VMOs, you can use that hip loop band still and just put it around one ankle, but under the opposite foot, right? Because then that opposite foot will hold down. As you lift or straighten your leg, it's going to give you a lot more in that quadricep.
VMO left.
Okay, and again, this one is not about the movement, it's about how you squeeze straight. So hold for like 1 to 2 seconds, really tight, push the heel away, pull the toes up, try to lift your leg off the chair, and then bring it back down, right?
That's halfway.
You want to see that nice, tight contraction. Firm squeeze. Well, getting those knees straight, making those quads work. Very important.
2, 1. Transition to VMO right.
Good. Well, time to get that one going. Okay, other leg.
2, 1. VMO right.
Okay, remember, compress, still sitting tall. Straighten that leg. Again, this is not a kick. It's not a, try to force it quickly through, but squeeze that quadricep really tight. Get the knee straight. Lock it in position.
That's halfway.
Okay, hold tight. So I want you to think you should be able to hold, like if I came up and I just pushed down on your ankle, right? If I came to push down on your ankle, you should hold tight, right? No difference. Hold it tight. Squeeze,
3,
squeeze, squeeze.
2, 1. Transition to hamstring curl.
Awesome. Okay, hamstring curls. Remember, get up nice and tall. Pull those heels towards the butt as hard as you can. Bend those knees.
1. Hamstring.
drive those heels. Drive those heels. So those with a foam roller, think crush your foam roller. Make it explode like confetti. Okay, drive hard, hard, hard. If you're on the floor,
That's halfway.
right, in a bridge position, you want to be pulling those heels towards the butt. Most likely your hamstrings are going to cramp if you're not used to it. Good, tight squeeze. All the way through, ladies, all the way through. Do your best. Pull hard, pull hard.
1. Long rest.
Awesome. Very good. All right, so round 1 is down. Hopefully you use that round really to connect your brain to the muscle tissue to help you move through this, controlling and contracting through the butt, the belly, and the bra strap, right? So this round, you can try, speed up your repetitions. You can add resistance by adding weight or resistance bands to it, but make it a challenge. It shouldn't be easy to get through each exercise, right? Should feel some sort of challenge.
3, 2, 1.
Of course.
Get ready to squat.
Yes. All right, here we go. Remember, rip the floor apart with your feet.
3, 2,
Okay?
1. Squat.
Rip the floor apart. Press that core. Keep your shoulders. Right? What we really want to avoid is that slumped over posture trying to sit down. Right? Stay tall. Shoulders down and back. Hips behind you.
That's halfway.
And go. Right. One check I like to do on this that you might try is I'll put my arms almost straight down from my chest and connect my elbows to my knees.
3, 2,
That helps me
1.
get in that position.
Transition to single
Hold
leg
tight
step
and
down.
press back up. Okay? Elbows to knees, press back up. Okay. Single leg step down or RDLs.
2,
Do lunges.
1. Single leg step down.
Right? If you do lunges, just stay in one spot. Right? 1 foot forward, 1 foot back. Go down and up. For the whole round, you might count how many you get in. Because we'll do one exercise on each leg.
That's
Or you
halfway.
could switch halfway here and then do RDLs for your next one. And switch halfway. Right? It just depends on what you want, what you're going to get out of the workout. Make sure that you're compressing, contracting, controlling your movements, connecting your brain.
1. Switch sides.
We want thoughtful movement, not thoughtless movement. Think more, not think less.
2, 1. Single leg step down.
Single leg, step downs, RDLs. Right? RDL is what Jacob's
That's
doing all the way
halfway.
over there. Right? Trying to keep your body completely straight. It's almost like a single leg good morning, right? You're trying to reach your foot all the way to the wall behind you, making your body stabilize and work on an individual leg.
3, 2,
Not an easy
1.
thing.
Transition to good morning.
Okay, good mornings. Again, butt to the wall. Reaching behind you. Try to keep your legs straight here because it should force your hamstrings to get tight.
3,
Right? So once your hamstrings are tight,
1. Good morning.
then you squeeze up. And again, we're not thinking face or shoulders to the floor. Right? We're thinking keep those away from the floor, but think maybe your belly button towards the floor. Right? For most of you, you'll be able to over-exaggerate. Pull your shoulders
That's
way
halfway.
down and back. Stick your butt way out behind you. Get those hamstrings tight and then squeeze up. Right? At the top of your good morning, you should have a penny flattened between those butt cheeks. Flatten it.
3,
Yeah.
1. Transition to monster walk.
All right, monster walks again. If your knees happen to drop in towards each other, put the band at your knees, a band at your ankles. It's much more difficult. Makes a longer lever. Longer level levers mean more torque. And the fulcrum, which is your hip joint, which forces your glutes to work a little harder, glute medius. Okay? You can do side steps, you can go forwards, backwards, just so long as you continue to compress the core. Squeeze tight. Belly whacks. Coming into play for everybody
That's
here.
halfway.
I'm not prejudiced. Everyone gets whacked in the belly. No belly left behind. Good, good, good. Compress, control, tight, tight squeezes.
2, 1. Transition to VMO left.
Okay, VMO. Make sure, again, you compress your core as you sit tall. Because what we're trying to do is force your body to work fully through all these ranges of motions so you can apply that to your everyday, right?
2, 1. VMO left.
Good straight legs. Drive firm. Compress hard. Okay? For some, so like my knee's really swollen right now, I might just leave my leg on the ground and just kind of pump my kneecap, right? Just create
That's
a
halfway.
neurological awareness of what your knee is capable of, right? What can the quads squeeze, right? So I want to straighten that knee, create a little pump. Can I get a little better squeeze each time? Once I get that squeeze really in place, then I can try lifting and see if I can
3,
control that movement.
2, 1. Transition to VMO right.
Okay, VMO on the other leg. Again, think push your heel away, toes up to your knees.
3,
Sit nice
2,
and tall.
1. VMO right.
Good. Core compression. Again, string pulls you up in your seat. If you're sitting down, even if you're standing, same thing. Right? You want that tall posture. Implement it. Make it work. Make it work. Again, doing your best all the way
halfway.
through.
Three, 2, 1.
Marsha.
Transition
Like
to
it.
hamstring curl.
Okay, hamstring curls. Remember, bend the knees here, pull really hard, get the backs of those hamstrings pulling by bending the knees and
3,
driving the heels
2,
into the foam roller.
1. Hamstring.
Remember, this one for me is the whole training of smashing the footrest down on a recliner. I don't know how many of you have those, but my in-laws have ones that are terrible. Terrible. You gotta smash them as hard as you possibly can to get them to click into place. So that's what we want to think. Make
That's
it work.
halfway.
Make it work. Good, good, good. And stay tall, stay tall. Pull those shoulders. We're still sitting in position.
2, 1. Long rest.
Awesome. Yeah. Force that.
I just realized that's about a 2 week
And that's what we'll do. So the brain, anytime we have like surgery, we're going to compensate, and those compensations then are built into kind of the hard wire, right? It's the normal go-to. So if I have a problem on my right side, my left is going to overwork to
3,
try to avoid the
2,
pressure on the right.
1.
So it's this
Get
forced
ready to
behavior
squat.
where we have to retrain that hard wiring to pick up the slack for the other side. So it's good that you noticed it so you can fix it. Right? That's the hardest part, is
2,
noticing
1.
a pattern that's wrong, right? Noticing poor posture throughout the day, right? It's so easy to throughout the day to not even focus on it, and just gravity starts winning, and bend over and we start losing our position, right? And that's not what we want. We want to be able to fight against gravity. We want our body to be able to hold us through a day's worth of work.
halfway.
So that's what we train. Good, good, good. Tract the core, right? Still ready for the belly whack, whether you're down in the seat or you're standing up tall. Either way, that should be compressed,
Transition to single leg step down.
right? Hold that spine tight. Single leg. Okay, whether it's lunges, RDLs, step ups on a
3,
step,
2, 1. Single leg step down.
no matter what. Just doing your best through it. Good control, good control. This is round
That's
3.
halfway.
Doing well, getting through it. Again, core compressed, hold your shoulders. You don't want to deviate your upper body. Keep all of that. Neck to pelvis, control.
3, 2,
Right.
1. Switch sides.
Hurt good or hurt bad? Okay, I'll take burn. Yeah.
3, 2, 1. Single leg step down.
Again, same thing. Doing your best to maintain your body position.
That's halfway. Three, 2, 1.
Very good.
Transition to good morning.
Awesome. Good mornings. Butt to the wall. Squeeze up tall. Okay, again, think
3,
belly button
2,
to the floor.
1.
Okay, that's
Good
going to help your
morning.
pelvis actually rotate rather than drooping your back thinking we're getting movement, because that actually isn't changing anything about the position of my hips. I want to actually change the direction or the angle in which my hips point, right? So I want my pelvis to point back, not
That's
just stay pointed towards the ground, right? That doesn't help me at all. Because we want to be able to go through that range of motion in the hip joint and force the hamstrings and the butt to pull you up tall. Right? That's the extension we're looking for.
3,
So again,
2,
pennies at the top.
1. Transition to monster walk.
Awesome. Monster walks. And bands at the ankle are harder unless your knees happen to go in
2,
just
1.
by way of your
Monster
anatomy.
walk.
And we want the band at the knees to make sure you're really forcing that external rotation. Again, the more time you spend on one foot, the harder it is. Right? So if you just kind of step
That's
forward and
halfway.
leave both feet on the ground, then step forward again quick and leave your feet on the ground, you're going to be getting less work, right? The more time I stay and stabilize, the more I'm going to force that hip to have to work through the movement. Right? You might take and just
2,
spend
1.
1 second trying to balance.
VMO left.
Here we go, VMO. Here we go, VMO.
You're the cheerleader.
That's the cheerleader in me right there. Give me an M. Give me an O. What's that spell? I don't know.
2,
VMO.
VMO left.
Sit tall, tall, tall. Shoulders down and back. Pull those heels, or straighten that knee. Push the heel away, right? That whole push is to make the leg extend, get really straight at the knee. Again, think, I'm coming
That's
around and
halfway.
being mean. Hold against, force that knee straight, force that knee straight, right? This is why bands around the feet, right? So one around the ankle that of the knee you're straightening, and then the band on the foot that's down on the ground.
3,
You can straighten against
2,
that band, and it's going
1.
to really make that knee
Transition
have to work.
VMO right.
Okay, VMO on the other side. And do your best to really get that leg straight.
1. VMO right.
Very good. Again, core compressed, sit really tall. Shoulder blades are down and back. Compress through it, firm, firm, firm. Doing your best.
That's halfway.
Again, sit tall, shoulders down and back. Because again, with the shoulder blades, we're thinking pinch the bra strap like you're trying to unclip the strap in the middle of the back there. Right? So it has to go down
3,
and back.
2, 1. Transition to hamstring curl.
Awesome.
When your kids were little, did you put them on your ankle? You know, oh, that's right.
Sure did.
Okay.
I'd cross my knees over and they'd grab onto my ankle and then I just started kicking them.
1. Hamstring.
Or, you know, the other one where they just sit on your foot and wrap around your leg and then you got to
Yeah.
step with them with a straight leg.
Yes.
Kids are great workouts. That's why we have them when we're young. And then when you get smarter, I've noticed my father-in-law does a really good job of making them do all the work. See? It's really smart. Very good. Pull hard, pull hard. Last one of round 3. We only have one more round to go.
3, 2, 1. Long rest.
Very good work. We have one more round to go. Remember, you can change that in any way that you feel necessary. You can change the repetitions, how many you're doing in the allotted time period. You can change the amount of resistance, which means add hand weights, add a resistance band, grab a laundry basket, whatever you have to add resistance to your movement. Or you can put both of those together, and you can be doing more resistance and more weight simultaneously. You're going to burn a lot more through your body because you're forcing different muscles to work through the movement, right?
3.
As always,
2,
butt belly bra strap
1.
as we get started
ready
here.
to squat.
Okay, get set and ready in position. Last round, so do your best through it. Do your best.
3, 2, 1. Squat.
Good squats. Again, compress that core, squeeze those butt cheeks nice and tight. Pressing into the floor to stand up. Again, you're trying to rip the floor apart, right? Push those feet down and apart from each other. Not that they actually move, right? But it's just that's the intention, is you're trying to force the ground to crack right between your feet underneath you. You're ripping it apart. Good squeeze.
3, 2,
Awesome.
1. Transition to single leg step down.
All right, very good. Single leg step down. Again, do not let your hips shift and change at the pelvis, okay? Or the waist. We want that to stay
2,
braced and solid,
1.
and then
Single
create
leg
movement
step
at the
down.
hip joint. Okay, again, pick an exercise that is challenging. It should not be easy to get through these. Okay, force your brain to work. Press that core, squeeze those shoulder blades down and back. There is a lot to movement. We just need to build in the program,
That's
right?
halfway.
Hardwire, hardwire. Press, contract, control, all the way through. And again, doing your absolute best to maintain your position.
3, 2,
Squeeze tight.
1. Switch sides.
Awesome. Okay, other side. Again, if you want to be doing lunges, you can do those.
3,
No matter what, we're working
2,
on knee bend.
1. Single leg step down.
Probably more than that working through the hip, right? So think about how your hip joint is actually moving. If we're bending at the waist instead of in the hip joint, that's a problem. So your hip joint's a ball and socket, so mechanically it should have the most range of motion through loaded movement, right? Loaded movements when we lift things, or grab things, or hold things and walk, right? The spine isn't what should cause movement, right? The hip joint is where our movement comes from.
3, 2, 1. Transition to good morning.
Awesome. Good mornings. Again, get nice and tall, shoulder blades down and back, compress your core. Again, push your butt back to the wall behind you, and then stand up tall.
2, 1. Good morning.
Good, ladies. Again, butt to the wall behind you. Think shoulders pinched back. Hard, hard, hard. Keep them behind your ears. Reach your butt.
Halfway.
Squeeze up. Reach your butt. Squeeze up. Good, good, good. Rest. Tall and tight, tall and tight.
3, 2, 1.
Good.
Transition to monster walk.
Awesome work. Okay, monster walks. Again, pick a spot for those bands that work for you. Make sure it's difficult, but maintain
3,
that spinal
2,
compression.
1. Monster walk.
You don't want a lot of rotation coming into the waist here. All of the work being put into the hips. Squeeze those butt cheeks together nice and tight. Stay tall. Shoulder blades down and back. Compress, compress, compress.
That's halfway.
Very good. Awesome work. Doing your absolute best.
3, 2, 1. Transition to VMO left.
Good. Okay, VMO. Make sure you get that leg as straight as you can. Locking that knee nice and tight. Okay, core compressed, shoulder blades down and
3,
back.
2, 1. VMO left.
Squeeze tight, tight, tight.
That's halfway.
Very good. Again, think I'm coming around and pushing down on that ankle while you try to keep that leg straight. Right? Force it tight. Compressing firm.
3, 2,
Good.
1. Transition to VMO right.
Okay, other side. And we just have hamstring curls. Right? You can make it. Keep working hard through it.
3, 2,
Look at that primer going, Lois. I like it.
VMO right.
Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Then try to raise. Right, forcing that quadricep to get really tight. Again, push the heel away. Toes up. Compress hard. Sit tall. Right, again, that string should be pulling you up in the chair. We want to always be working on how we sit
That's halfway.
in this position. Right, shoulder blades down and back. Head hold up. Right? You think that chin is kind of on a drawer. Push that drawer in. Marsha, we don't want our drawers out.
3, 2, 1. Transition to hamstring curl.
Good. Hamstring curls, last one. Again, remember, do your absolute best to bend your knees.
3, 2, 1. Hamstring.
Press that core. Pull those heels hard, hard, hard. If you have a foam roller and you're pulling into that, drive it like you're trying to explode that foam roller. Think a recliner, you're putting that footstool down, right? Pull those heels. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze.
That's halfway.
Pressing all the way through, doing your absolute best. You got it. You got it finished strong all the way through. Compressing. Almost there.
3, 2, 1. Long rest.
Awesome. Very, very good work. I thank you so much for joining us. Remember, please leave a comment below. Let us know how we can best serve or help you. We would love to do that to make sure that better body movement is a part of your day, all day, every day, so that way you can move well and live well. I hope you have a fantastic day. We'll see you again tomorrow for our core day.
Oftentimes, I have clients come to me and say that they feel like they have ribs that are out. This is caused by muscles creating undue tension on the ribs and vertebrae. The first muscles to focus on when we do our work is the Latissimus Dorsi. This muscle originates from the bottom 6 thoracic vertebrae to the sacrum, then spans past the lower 3 to 4 ribs and inserts in the humerus. Start with a foam roller placed on the thoracic spine. You're going to begin by pressing your elbow up to the ceiling and then dropping down to the floor. I like to imagine holding a tray on my elbows that I'm pushing to the ceiling and then relaxing to the floor. Repeat this for 7 to 10 repetitions and then move on to overhead extension. While on the thoracic spine, starting with your palms towards the knees and arms straight, extend the arms overhead, pointing your thumbs towards the floor. To intensify each side, simply roll over onto one side. Try to relax in the tender points. Complete 7 to 10 repetitions with a foam roller in 3 different parts of the ribs. Now we're going to work the Erector Spinae and Transverso Spinalis. These muscles line your vertebrae on both sides. The Erector Spinae is deep, yet even deeper are the multifidus and semispinalis. The deepest muscles connected to the vertebrae are the rotatories, and in the low back, the intertransversarii. Start with 2 lacrosse balls and place them by the neck. The lacrosse balls should be touching as you begin to roll your body up, forcing the lacrosse balls down your spine. Do this slowly. You should only press further if you can fully tolerate your body pressure on top of the lacrosse balls. It could take anywhere from 30 seconds to 1 minute before that muscle relaxes. Then you can press with the lacrosse balls down a little bit further. You may need to work gradually through this because your muscle will be so tender you can't tolerate all of your body weight's pressure into the lacrosse balls. In order to create a greater release, do not rush this. It should take cumulatively close to 15 minutes to work your way down the entire spine.